Today we have the United States 10-cent coin from 1970, or the US dime, or the Roosevelt dime. Now, a lot of people have these Roosevelt dimes, and a lot of people know that there are some Roosevelt dimes that are called the no S dimes that are worth about $1,000, somewhere between $700 and $1,000 from 1970. Well, the question a lot of people ask is, do I have one of these no S dimes? And the answer, which I'm going to give you unequivocally right now, is no, you don't. You do not have a United States no S dime from the year 1970. At least you don't have one that looks like this. The no S dimes from 1970. So we look right here and it says 1970, and we see that there's no mark above that. But of course, that's because this is the dime from Philadelphia. And we look at this one over here, and we see there is a D here, and that is the dime from Denver. So what is the no S dime? Well, in 1970, the San Francisco Mint, which produces proof coins only in 1970, produced about 2,000 proof coins that they forgot to put the S on, hence the no S dime. Now, the no S dime came in other years too. It came in the year 1968, 1970, 1975, and 1983. The no S dime from 1975 is worth, they just sold one for $516,000. From 1970, however, they know of 2,000 of them, and they just sold some of them at PCGS for between $700 and $1,000, depending on the quality of them. And one did sell in 2018, a really nice quality one for $1,300. So you probably don't have the no S dime. Let's take a look at the dime. Of course, it has Roosevelt on it, facing to the left. It says Liberty in front of him. Right down here, it says, "In God We Trust," right under his chin. And then down here, this is not the mint mark. This is actually the signature of the engraver, a J and an S for John Sinek, who was the engraver and designer of this dime. Then, of course, over here we see the 1970. You see how it's a little flattened out? You see how the W and the we touches the edge? Is that any kind of error? Nope. That's because these coins, you see how they're flattened out over time. And so this being worn out and this touching the rim over here, that's not an error, that's not offset or anything, that's just this kind of getting flat. On the Denver side, we see it's pretty similar. Liberty, Roosevelt facing left, "In God We Trust" here. And again, this isn't touching because it got flattened out. Again, the JS for John Sinek. And then there's a D there. Now, there's something funny about the Denver from 1970, and that is I've got a number of questions from people, and they said, "I have a 1970 O." And I said, "Well, what's a 1970 O?" And they said, "Yeah, the mint mark's an O." And I said, well, this one definitely is not an O. You can tell that's a D. So I went through my old 1970 Ds, and I did find this one, which is as close as I could get. And if you look at it kind of in a funny way, it almost looks like an O, but it's still a D. So you don't have a 1970 O, even though this does look a lot like an O if you tip it certain ways. There's no O mint mark in the United States. So this is a D that also got flattened out. What's in the back of these coins? Well, on the back of these coins, we have the torch. It says United States of America across the top. We have the torch in the center. We have an oak branch here and an olive branch here. Oak for hard or strong. Olive branch here for peace. It says one dime at the bottom. A dot here, a dot here. And then across here it says E pluribus unum. How can you tell if you have a really good quality coin? Well, you'll be able to see bands across the torch, and you'll be able to see the lines going down through the torch. That's how you can tell you have a good quality. How can you tell if you have a 1970 S no S dime that was made in San Francisco? Well, here's one of the ways you can tell. It's going to be in a mint proof case like this. This is a 77, but in 1970 they didn't have any dollar coins in it, so it was a 5 coin So in 1970, if we want to look at this is a mint proof set, and it's from San Francisco. You can see the S's here. In 1970, they had a half dollar, quarter, nickel, penny, and dime. And then the dime was over here. And if you blew up the 1970 dime, you looked above it, and there was no S there, and it was in a case like this, then you knew you had the 1970 S. If you do have one, and it is in a case like this, do not ever take it out, because collectors want to be sure that it's still in the proof set case. So of know of, and they are pretty valuable. $1,000 worth $1,000 or so. So if you ever do find a proof set without the S's on it, save that set because it's going to be worth a lot of money. But otherwise, if you just found a dime in your change and you think it's a 1970 no S, I can tell you almost assuredly it's not. It's just from Philadelphia because in 1970, Philadelphia didn't put a mint mark on. How many coins were made in 1970? Well, a bunch. The 1970 Philly coin, which is over here, without the mint mark, they made 346 million. The 1970 D here, and we'll flip this back over so you can see the D again, or the O if you want to call it an O. The 1970 D, they made 755 million. So between the two of these, about 1.3 billion of these dimes were made. In terms of the mint sets or proof sets from 1970, there were 2,000 out of 2.6 million that we know of so far did not have an S. So keep looking, but always look in a proof 1975 proof set. Look for the no S there because we know of two examples of the 1975 proof set that have no S in 1975, and one of them sold in 2019. I think it was in September 2019. A 1975 no S sold for $516,000. All right. Well, you don't have one. I don't have one, but we can look for some. And if you want to look and see what one looks like, you can go on govmint.com, and they have the 1970 no S. You can just blow up the picture. So govmint.com has a picture of a proof set from 1970 with the no S. All right, that's all we have today. Thanks for watching our channel, and we'd love to have you subscribe to our channel and leave any comments you might have in the comments section. Have a great day from DC Coin World International Coin Channel.